Greetings and salutations, horror movie fans. My name is Gilbert Ubar, and welcome back to the Attic Review. On today's episode of Tar, I want to talk about the perfect blend of comedy, horror, and weed in the classic Idle Hands. Devon, Sawa, Seth Green, and Jessica Alba smacked us with a dose of the late 90s in this staple of my teenage years, and is a fan favorite for a reason. In traditional Attic Review fashion, I'm going to break the movie down into the three acts as I saw them play out, what I loved about each part, if I had any complaints, and how I felt about the movie overall. So, without further ado, grab the munchies and let's talk about the laughs and scares of Idle Hands. We open to a Halloween decorated house in a quiet neighborhood, but the elderly couple that lives inside the house, well, they're not going to be alive much longer as a frightening murder takes place before our eyes. But as brutal as their demise was, it did not wake their stoner son Anton. In fact, Anton wakes up and his only concern is being out of weed, so he heads to his bud's house for some bud. Anton's search for weed comes to a screeching halt, but his best friends Mick and Penelope inform him that there's a potential serial killer in their small town. So now Anton is concerned that he hasn't seen his parents in a while and he still ain't got no weed. Little side note though, we've got a nun on the run trying to stop this killer's fun as she is hot on the trail of this killer. Back to Anton, who in an act of desperation smokes up a weird concoction of nutmeg and oregano. Don't ask. And after coughing out his lungs, that mixture puts some fear into Anton as he thinks he's being chased by the killer in his house, and that leads him to accidentally discover the bodies of his dead parents. Thank goodness Mick and Penelope show up to help their friend in need. But further investigation shows a lot of proof that, oh shit, Anton is the killer. And he doesn't do this on purpose, but he accidentally adds his friends to his list of kills, and we end Act 1. Before we get to what was great about Act 1, it would be great of all of you to like the video and please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate the love. Alright, thank you so much. Now let's get on to Act 1's greatest hits. Act 1 likes, let's start with that fire ass opening. Holy crap. That music and the ferocity of the opening kills weren't something I was expected from this horror comedy. They went straight for the spooky shit. The comedy took over, but this act is still laced with some good scares and kills, especially making Penelope's exit from the living. I was a dumbass 15-year-old when this movie came out, and I'm happy and sad that I still laugh at all these moronic jokes and banter between friends. These guys are idiots, and I love it. From weed and sex jokes to making fun of Anton for not making the moves on his hot-ass neighbor Molly. Jessica Alba. We'll get to her later. But aside from Anton murking them, they have a loving friendship. Some of my favorite scenes include the whole intro to the movie. That shit was crazy and a blast to watch. Then, the conversation with the three friends in the basement, that's a good time. And then Anton smoking that combination of nutmeg and oregano. His reaction is hilarious and you're definitely going to want to rewind that part. But I lost it when Anton slowly shoves the dog into a hallway to check for any intruders. So good. Act 1 dislikes? Couldn't name anything. I was too busy laughing. So let's see what bad boy Anton gets into next in Act 2. Act 2. Anton is a mess over what he's done, but his possessed hands grabs the family cat and yeets it across the street. Which I should not have laughed at, but I'm not laughing at the heavens punishing me by forcing me to watch Anton somehow win over Molly. And I'm putting that PG because what they did was basically R-rated and I just After that unnecessary canoodling, Anton gives his bros a proper burial in his backyard. But they don't want to stay dead. Anton passes out from fear, kind of. But his friends are here to help, and they go seek out some advice from their 80s metal-loving neighbor, Randy, who doles out some good advice. You got to keep that double hand busy. Yeah, that doesn't work very well, as Anton's hand continues its kill streak with two cops that were trying to solve the murders. What to do, what to do. Desperate times call for desperate measures, playa, so Anton decides to turn his hand into Thing from Adam's family by chopping it off. Big mistake, Anton, because now that hand is free to do some murder and other hood rat things, like taking Molly to hell. Cannot let that happen to Molly. So Anton and the dead friends leap into action, But they are not alone on the hunt, as the mysterious nun from earlier and 80s Randy also close in on the hand, and we end Act 2. Act 2, Devon Sawa's physical comedy is amazing in this act. Just watch as he throws himself over Molly's banister, or as he walks face first into a pillar in his darkly lit home. Man is a genius. My boy Sawa isn't alone in his shine though. Seth Green and Eldon Henson, my goodness, these guys are great as the not-so-dead friends and for keeping things as light as you can in this dark comedy. Whoa, let's not skip over the action though. Yes, the comedy is standing out, but the kills in this act are gnarly, and a nice reminder that we're still watching a horror movie. My favorite scenes? Please forgive me, but Anton launching the family cat like that, it seems so unnecessary, wow. Mick and Penub coming out of their graves to confront Anton was sick. They looked menacing, and the lights were perfect in this haunting sequence. Another favorite is the cops failing to arrest Anton. I was horrified, but sadly still laughing because of those idiots Mick and Penub. Also, Tom DeLonge making a cameo at the burger place that Anton's got to sneak into. It's still cool to see to this day. And the whole sequence of the hand getting the chop and then escaping was a great mixture of laughs and jumps. Act 2 dislike? I hate you, Devon Sawa, for wooing Jessica Alba. I hate you! But damn it, do I respect you. Act 3 has everyone rushing to the school dance. Not because pop group The Offspring's there, no. It's to stop the hand from making the gym as filled with corpses as possible before it tries to drag Molly to hell at midnight. Drew at times said they got 6 minutes. And it's a bloodbath when the severed hand goes on a murder streak as Anton, his friends, and the vigilante nun try to trap the evil before it gets Molly. Where is Molly, by the way? After escaping the massacre in the gym through the vents, her poor friend Tanya falls victim to the little steam fest, and then Molly gets captured in a pretty funny moment. We are getting closer to Drew at midnight, and everything is going to plan for the hand. Molly's tied up to a car, about to be crushed and head to hell with the evil when her knight in greasy armor arrives to save the day. Yes! But then Anton accidentally gets smashed by the car after he saves her. No. Unfortunately, the lucky stoner not only lives, but gets the girl. But his best buds get to go to heaven for their efforts, and Anton gets his chicken ass scared one more time before we end this wild, dark comedy. So, what was to love about Act 3? We had the laughs all movie, but the fright factor really showed up as the hand terrorized the Offspring and everyone at that dance, including that naughty principal. And although the scares and the kills were plentiful, the school dance in general was cool. The late 90s punk bands were awesome providing the music, and then the Halloween theme. This is just a nice setup for the final showdown. Some of my favorite scenes include Mick lecturing Penub about the consequences of being dead and trying to res up some blonde hottie. Not a good idea, Penub, but hey, shoot or shoot. I respect that. The Offspring. That was so cool to see a popular band of the time be in a movie like this. Shout out Offspring for having a great time in the film. The air vent sequence was fun all around, from Molly and Tanya trying to escape to hearing Mick and Penub arguing over and over and almost getting stuck. I love that part. And then of course, the end scene is both funny and scary to top off the wild ride we just went on. So, how did I feel about this movie overall? It's rude and crude with a 90s tune, but this movie was essential watching when I was a teenager, and I still love the hell out of this off-the-wall horror comedy. It certainly has the scares to call itself horror, but ultimately, this movie is a ton of fun to enjoy because of its lovable losers, pothead mentality, dumbass mom, weed, dick jokes, and other offensive things they can talk about. This is a raunchy, amusing trip to the late 90s, which is great to put on with some friends and just reminisce. And that's it for today's episode of Tar. I will probably always have a love-hate relationship with Mr. Devon Sawa. However, I will always have incredible love for Idle Hands, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. It has been an absolute pleasure. Please subscribe, like, comment, tell some friends about the channel. My name is Gilbert Ybarra, and thank you so much for watching the Attic Review. Smile, Tiger.